Hi, my name is Dave, and today I'm going to talk to you about habits and addictions. I've written a book and run groups on this subject. This is a poem I've written. Afterwards, I'll explain what I mean by each verse. What does the word habits mean to you? Actions you feel somehow forced to do? Some habits are healthy, some unhealthy, and some in between. Does everything in your house have to be sparkling clean? A habit can become an addiction before you realise, whether it's alcohol, smoking, gambling, or poison in disguise. The time and money devoted to your habit and addictions could be better spent. In these days of increasing power bills, you do need every cent. You can overcome any addiction if you wish. It will need determination, it will need willpower. Using those abilities you have will see your addictions vanish. By doing that, and I know you can, your life will bloom and flower. You have the willpower to do anything. You can draw, do exercise, help someone, or sing. Without unhealthy habits, think of the freedom it will bring. Freedom, yes! Do you want it? That's what I'm seeing. As a way of overcoming bad habits and addictions, be aware. Aware of any habit or addiction that can cause harm. Harm to you and those you love is most unfair. Saying no to bad habits and addictions adds to your charm. You don't need to poison yourself with alcohol, to smoke or to vape. You deserve better, don't you, my friend? The mouths of those who say you can't beat addictions should be covered with masking tape. Knowing you can and will beat addictions is the best way for this poem to end. Let's look at that first verse again. What does the word habits mean to you? Actions you feel somehow forced to do? Some habits are healthy, some unhealthy, some in between. Does everything in your house have to be sparkling clean? You might not even be aware of some of your habits, but others are, and it can even drive them insane. My neighbour keeps on saying, "What? What?" instead of a polite, "I beg your pardon?" I feel like shoving the word "what" down her throat again and again and again. I went to confront her about it one day, but she was crying. She said that her husband, who my friend Jasmine and I call Sandpaper Mouth, has this habit of snoring very loudly every night, and sometimes during the day as well. Any suggestions, she pleaded? Well, put it this way. I had to stop Jasmine from saying, "Have you tried euthanasia?" You might have the habit of saying 3 things you are grateful for that happen during the day just before you go to sleep. That's a great habit to have. Well done. You might have the habit of talking on your mobile phone when you're driving. That habit can distract you to the point where you can crash your car and even kill someone, even an innocent child. Habits can become oh so boring when you're in a relationship, doing the same thing, the same way, day after boring day. Whether it's kissing, making love, eating the same food, talking about the same things, day after boring day. It can easily lead to divorce. Replacing boring habits with exciting variety can put a smile on your face and help you and your relationship to grow. With habits, we exist. Without habits and with variety, we live. Let's look at verse 2 now. A habit can become an addiction before you realise, whether it's alcohol, smoking, gambling, or poison in disguise. The time and money devoted to your habits and addictions could be better spent. In these days of increasing power bills, you do need every cent. Some of you may become defensive, even aggressive, when it's pointed out that the habit has turned into an addiction. What do you mean it's addiction? An addiction, for crying out loud. There's nothing wrong with drinking a bottle of alcohol a day, or spending a few $100s gambling on poker machines and lotteries, or killing myself through smoking or vaping, could be the response. Such a strong reaction is a key indicator that a habit has in fact turned into addiction. When you're an addict, it means you are dependent on a habit. What can happen is the amount of money you spend and the amount of time you spend on a habit, or even thinking about the habit, can increase over time, and you develop an addiction before you realise. What I suggest is try keeping a weekly record of how much money and time you spend on everything. Then you can see for yourself, for example, that you spent $500 on bills, $300 on groceries, $200 on gambling, $150 on fast food, 40 hours working, 20 hours drinking, 20 hours gambling, 20 hours playing computer games. Now I'd like you to consider this. How much time do your children spend staring at a computer screen? Keeping those records could be a harsh reality check for you. It can make you aware that the money and time spent on an addiction or habit can be used in more fun, more healthy activities, having more quality time with a loved one, or even going on a holiday. Just imagine a weekend at a luxury resort on the Gold Coast, overlooking a beautiful beach, sitting in a spa, feasting on the finest foods, having your body sensuously massaged, listening to the sound of your favourite music, with the fragrance of romance essential oil tantalising you. Oh yeah. Oh, that's so beautiful. All that can be yours with the money you spend on that, which would otherwise be wasted on an addiction. Understand? Now for verse 3. You can overcome any addiction if you wish. It will need determination. It will need willpower. Using those abilities you have will see your addictions vanish. By doing that, and I know you can, your life will bloom and flower. If you have an unhealthy habit or addiction now, even if you've had it for 10 or 20 years, does not mean you'll always have it. That may come as a shock to you. After all, we've been brainwashed by irresponsible so-called experts, including psychologists and psychiatrists, for far too long, into believing the lie that once you have a healthy habit or addiction, you will always have it. If I've got an addiction to alcohol, like I did, if I've got an addiction to gambling, like I did, if I've got an addiction to social media, like I did. And I'm constantly told I've got those addictions for life by so-called experts that there is no hope for me to overcome those addictions, then I'll believe I've got no hope. And the result, I'll continue those addictions. What I did was to first stop listening to the lies of psychologists who said I've got those addictions for life. Next, I found quite easily my determination and willpower. Then I found, again, quite easily, my motivation to stop those addictions. I've got better things to do with my life, with my time, with my money. I said out loud. I believed I won't have those addictions for life. The more I believed that truth, the more I knew that to be the truth. And the outcome? Those addictions have disappeared. Yes! I'm looking at you now as someone with a lot of determination and willpower. And with that powerful combination, you can do anything, including eliminating unhealthy habits and addictions. Knowing you can and will do that puts a smile on my face. I'm confident it will put a smile on your face too. I see you as a flower about to bloom. Psychologists and other so-called experts see you as a weed, as a temple of doom. I've got the more accurate, healthy view of you. Verse 4 revisited. You have the willpower to do anything. You can draw, do exercise, help someone, or sing. Without unhealthy habits, think of the freedom it will bring. Freedom, yes. Do you want it? That's what I'm seeing. You don't have to do what others do. You don't have to do what others want you to do. You don't have to do anything. You do have the ability to say no. You may feel a lot of peer pressure, especially if you're a teenager, or pressure by family, friends, even strangers and media, into sort of forcing you to have a bet, to drink alcohol, to take drugs, to play computer games, to eat fast food junk, to smoke or vape, or even commit crimes. The pressure can be enormous and unrelenting, but remember, you do have the ability, the real strength, the freedom, the willpower to say no. You can create, whether it's a piece of furniture, a recipe, or a song. Use your imagination. It can be so rewarding. You don't need alcohol to celebrate your creation. Seeing the end result is rewarding in itself. Exercising your body and mind is an essential habit to maintain. As I said in my most recent video, titled Exercise or Die, you do have a choice. Exercise or die. When you help someone, it's a lovely feeling, isn't it? It puts a deep smile on your face and the face of the person you help. Whether it's a random act of kindness or through regular volunteering. When you do that, it's like, how do I explain this? It's like giving someone a glass of water and receiving a glass of champagne in return. What's some way you can help others? Think about that, and when you come up with that answer, turn that answer into a healthy habit. Verse 5 revisited. As a way of overcoming bad habits and addictions, be aware. Aware of any habit or addiction that can cause harm. Harm to you and those you love is most unfair. Saying no to bad habits and addictions adds to your charm. As I said in my domestic violence awareness video, Many people, who I call low-life scum, use alcohol as a pathetic excuse to verbally, emotionally, psychologically, and physically attack or murder their partners and children. They proudly say, "I've got an alcohol addiction. That's why I attacked her or him." How dare they? How dare they? There is no excuse. What is prevalent in Australia, the land I proudly love, is a culture, in some communities more than others, in which so-called real men drink a lot of alcohol, swear, show no respect for their partners, and commit acts of domestic violence. I believe real men, indeed real people, those who we should admire, are those who use their willpower, their courage, determination, and selfless qualities to say no to alcohol and yes to respecting themselves and those who they claim to love. What do you think? If you think that playing computer games is a harmless activity, it's no big deal, I'd like you to listen carefully to what I have to say. A few years ago, there was a case, I can't remember which country it was in which a man addicted to playing computer games was in the middle of a game when he was interrupted by his pregnant partner. He swore at her in a disgusting manner. Then he bashed her to the extent that she lost her child. I cried. Maybe you did too. Healthy games for children and adults are outdoor games. Next time you're too lazy to play outdoor games with your children and instead put a computer screen in front of their faces, what you may well be doing is encouraging what could well turn out to be a dangerous, even a deadly addiction to your children. Before I go on to my final verse, there are a couple more aspects of habits and addictions I'd like to comment on. I've got a question for you. Which addiction has caused the largest amount of unnecessary anxiety, misery, depression, and suicide in the last 5 years? The answer is accepting the insane rants and lies of self-proclaimed goddesses and gods who've said that the world will end within the next minute or two because of so-called climate change. Climate change activists, alarmists, scaremongers, lunatics have been allowed to poison the minds of society, including innocent school children, because we have lacked the courage to stand up to those hypocrites who fly around in private jets sprouting lies about climate change. It is absolutely disgraceful and totally unacceptable that children in classrooms, innocent children, instead of learning to read and to write, are brainwashed by climate change alarmists who believe that cutting down trees and replacing them with hideous wind turbines will somehow save the planet. The reality is that climate change has been happening for millions of years, and it will continue to happen for millions of years. So why panic? Why panic? A deadly addiction is to accept the verbal diarrhea of climate change alarmists. An unhealthy habit is to even pay attention to them. A healthy habit is to laugh at them and say we've got more important issues to deal with, such as paying power bills. The next point I'd like to make is, as I said in my previous video, when you look at yourself in the mirror and you say nice words about yourself, it's a wonderful habit to have. Now, let's be honest here. When you look in the mirror, no matter how hard you try, you aren't going to look at someone as good looking as me. The fact is, no one is as good looking as me. I hope they put a smile on your face and made you laugh. That's the way. When you smile and laugh, you are so good looking. How about you adopt that habit of smiling and laughing at the mirror every single day? And you can even say some nice words such as, I love myself. I believe in myself. I approve of myself. I'm a winner. Don't delay. Adopt that habit today. Hooray, hooray, hooray! Yes! Now for the final verse. You don't need to poison yourself with alcohol, to smoke, or to vape. You deserve better, don't you, my friend? The mouths of those who say you can't beat addictions should be covered with masking tape. Knowing you can and will beat addictions is the best way for this poem to end. It's sad that in these tough economic times, with power bills and other bills ever increasing, that so many, maybe even you, resort to gambling. The attitude of someone with a gambling addiction is not, I lost, but is, I nearly won. I nearly won a lot of money, but my horse was beaten in a photo finish. I nearly won a lot of money, but my sporting team was beaten in the last minute. I nearly won a lot of money at the casino. I nearly won a lot of money playing the lottery. I know what it's like to nearly win, to have a gambling addiction. It made me bankrupt. I used my willpower and determination to conquer my gambling addiction. I will never gamble again. In this video, I've encouraged you to believe in yourself, to make you aware that your bad habits and addictions can and will be overcome, defeated, conquered, yes. Not by having multiple visits to psychologists and other so-called experts who believe in the lie that addictions last forever, but by using your vast amount of willpower, determination and self-control. What can you do when you feel pressured to smoke, to vape, to drink alcohol, to gamble, to stare at a computer screen, or to eat junk food? You can say, no, I deserve better. Every time you say no, the really smart people in this world will be applauding you, including me. So, how well have you been listening? I've got a little quiz for you. Question 1. The name of my friend who calls my neighbour Sandpaper Mouth is A, Jacinta, B, Jackie, C, Jasmine. The answer is Jasmine. Question 2. With habits, we exist. With variety, we A, die, B, get ugly, or C, live. The answer is live. Question 3. Those who say you've got no hope to overcome addictions are A, psychologists, B, liars, C, weeds. The answer is all of the above. Question 4. I see you as A, a flower, about to bloom. B, a weed, a picture of doom. C, a jar of honey. D, a sweet person about to give me money. The answer is a flower about to bloom. Question 5. Climate change activists A, utter verbal diarrhea. B, poison the minds of children with their lies. C, should be used as compost to do their bit for the environment. The answer is all of the above. Question 6. What can you use to overcome addictions? A, a broom, sunglasses and soap. B, willpower, determination and self-control. C, lipstick, a bowl of rice and a snake. The answer is willpower, determination and self-control. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you've got any questions or comments, I'd love to hear from you. Together, we can make this world a better place. For details on how to contact me, see the bio below. Thanks again.